This video is for your levels of questioning assignment. The first assignment you were supposed to have completed on today, Tuesday, September 8th, was read Chapter 1 of Written in Bone. You cannot complete this assignment without reading Chapter 1 first. So that had to be your first step. You had a couple of options. You could have read straight from the PDF that was located in my Bitmoji classroom. If you look on the bookshelf, you see the book there. Or you could have watched the videos. It had me reading the story to you, and you could still see the pages. Okay, so while you're reading Written in Bone, you're going to complete what's called a dialectical journal for each chapter. At times, you're going to write a question about your assigned reading, and today's activity is going to help you understand the difference in each question level. In this slide, I'm going to give you examples of each question level, and you'll learn how to create your own questions. These levels are important to your ability to analyze or understand the text. We have 3 levels of questions. 1, 2, 3. Level 1 means that you read on the line and you comprehend it literally. So you are literally asking a question that you can find explicitly in the story. Level 2 is a little more difficult. This means that we have to infer and make connections among information in different parts of the text. And then level 3, this is the most advanced. We're making a connection between the text and something outside of it. So something dealing with the text and something else outside in the real world. Okay, level 1. Level 1 means that you are reading on lines for recall questions. Recall means that you can remember facts and details. So let's look at this right here. As you read, you should be mentally asking yourself questions that you can answer by explicit information. When I say explicit, it means that it's clearly stated in the text. I can point it out, I can find that information, and I can say, look, here it is. Here it is in the story. I can physically point it out in the passage. You recall or remember facts and details that answer questions like who, what, where, when. So these are very basic questions. Over here on this page, I've given you some examples from Chapter 1. So I've given you the question and you'll notice that I found the answer. Question, where's the Chesapeake Bay region? Well, I very clearly remember reading that in Chapter 1. So if I go back to the text, I should be able to find this question and point it out. Where's the Chesapeake Bay region? Puzzles of the Chesapeake. The scientist who found the boy's grave has spent years working at several extraordinary sites in the Chesapeake Bay region. This area includes modern states of Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware. So where's the Chesapeake Bay region? Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware. And that's my answer. Number 2. What did the National Park Service begin at Jamestown in the 1940s and 1950s? Well, these 2 decades right here stand out to me. I remember seeing that in Chapter 1. So if I go back to the text, what did the National Park Service begin at Jamestown in the 1940s and 1950s? In the 1940s and 1950s, the National Park Service began formal archaeological excavations on the foundations of other buildings at Jamestown, and they located a cemetery. So they started archaeological excavations on the foundations of other buildings, and they found a cemetery. So I would take that answer and put it right there. I want to point out, in both questions, it starts with a W word, where and what. If I go back over here to my notes, where and what are 2 of the questions that I can answer for level 1. Something else that I might ask myself is, who is the leading forensic anthropologist in these excavations? I could go back and I could see that it said Dr. Owsley. You could ask yourself, how many cemeteries did they find around the James Fort area? So your assignment is, in this space below, I want you to come up with 2 level 1 questions for Chapter 1. So you had to read Chapter 1 to do this. Remember, these questions can be found directly in the text, so when I'm looking for my answer, the story tells me explicitly what that answer is. After you write your question, provide the answer in a complete sentence. Okay, so you have your text box here. When you double click, you see it highlights it in blue on the outside, and I've already set this up for you. So next to question, you're going to start typing who, what, when, where, whatever you want your question to be. After you have your question, I want you to find the answer. Remember, the answer has to come directly from the story. And you're going to do that twice. You're going to come up with 2 level 1 questions for chapter 1 and give me the answer. Now, if you accidentally delete your text box, and a lot of you did when you were doing your vocabulary, follow my mouse. You have 2 options. You can go up here to the toolbar, and you see this arrow that's pointed back. It says undo. If you click it, the text box comes back. Now, if you can't do that, follow my arrow, go up here to the toolbox where it says the word insert. You want your second option, text box. And then it looks like a crosshair or a plus sign. If you drag it across the page, it creates a new text box for you, and you can start typing again.